Sar's Music Zone, and today we are kicking off this series of studying music education with a couple of videos, a couple of hints, a couple of tips that may help you in studying music and understanding music as it relates to assessment, perhaps, school quizzes, those type of things. And so I want to kick off the ball with the elements of music, because everything that we do surrounds, or it's built on the foundation of understanding the elements of music, what they are, what they're used for, and how they're used properly and effectively. And usually there are a number of elements. Some persons say there are 5 main ones, some persons say there are 7 main ones. You have some that are overarching. So once you have the basic ones out of the way, a lot of them can be subsumed. Importantly to note as well is that a lot of times the elements walk hand in hand. So they're really dependent on each other to function, while they can function by themselves, but really they do well with working with the other ones. So the first one I wanted to highlight is rhythm. Now, rhythm has to do with duration. So that is long or short. So in essence, that's the most simplest form of explaining. So music is divided into long or short sounds. So you can easily clap a rhythm of a given piece. Let's say, for example, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So we could identify the long ones, the short sounds, long and short sounds. So if we're clapping, it would be for example. So we have Twinkle Twinkle Little, all of those will be short. Star would be the short one. So once you organize the sounds in that particular order, then you can, decipher how the rhythm is placed within that given music. So that's first, rhythm. I want to talk about dynamics. I was going to say the simple version of it, but dynamics. And dynamics really has to do with volume. So dynamics can be either loud or soft. So that's loud or soft. Usually there are some Italian words that are normally used that show in between. So you can have very soft, moderately soft, moderately loud, very loud, or just loud, or just soft. So usually those are the extent of volume. And then you may have 2 other variations. We'll talk about crescendo and decrescendo. So crescendo is gradually getting louder, decrescendo is gradually getting softer. And how we use dynamics is one of those expressive elements of music that really you can enhance a piece just by employing dynamics to it. All right, so dynamics has to do with volume, so that's soft or loud. The next one is tempo. Now, tempo has to do with speed. And we're talking about speed in music, we're talking about fast or slow. So it can be either fast or slow. And you have variations of that, and of course, Italian terms as well that will identify how fast or slow this piece should be played or sung. So you can have vivace, allegretto, largo, andante, and so on and so forth. Grave. So all of those are tempo words that have to do with tempo. The next one is pitch. Now, pitch has to do with tone. So it can be high or low. So it's high or low. So based on our scale, we can determine pitch. And normally we can make reference to either the Kodai hand sign. So you have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Or we do do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So we can determine the pitch. It's high or low. And we can usually, based on the construct, which takes us into the next element, which is the structure, that would tell us how the melody, the pitch is designed. So structure has to do with the shape, the way the music is designed. So it could be, you can, some things that determine that you can be either, up and down. Is it strophic? Is it on one level? Or you find that there's some skips and leaps and that type of thing. So you can identify with that. So the structure has to do with the shape or the form. The next element we want to talk about is texture. So texture has to do with how thick or how thin. And we have several types of texture that we do. So you have monophonic texture, which is really just one texture all the way, just one thing. You may have polyphonic texture, which you have a couple things happening at the same time over time. And you may have homophonic, which kind of is something like, like an instrument or a voice with an accompaniment. And you have heterophonic, which is a lot of ideas, or variations of the same melody happening at the same time. So within that, we can determine how thick or thin the texture is based on what is happening in the piece. The next element I want to highlight is timbre, Timbre. And timbre has to do with the sound quality. So that is what type of quality of sound you're dealing with. Are you dealing with vocal instruments? Are you dealing with, I said vocal instruments. Are you dealing with voice only? Or are you dealing with instruments? Or is there a mixture? Can you identify what is happening? And usually the ethnographic classification comes into play here. So ethnographical classification has to do with how the instruments are organized based on chordophones, membranophones, aerophones, electrophones, or idiophones, right? So in a nutshell, those are all the elements that we, interact with on a daily basis. So once you understand how these elements work, how they're supposed to be used effectively within any interaction with a score or with a live arrangement, then you should be able to, perform music with much effectiveness, if you understand what I'm saying, and much musicality, much creativity. So we use one word, you bring out the musicality, because once you go through the process of note learning and learning these just by getting the notes that are there, and you're able to apply all of these elements, then that will bring out the best of it. So getting to know your elements, understand them in the most simplest form, then you should be ready on your way. Well, we'll see you next time for the next episode on Study Corner. Take care.